What up, bitches? It's the misanthropic one, aka He Who Hungers, and I'm back up in this bitch for another rant/review. Today, I want to talk about this album right here, Talib Kweli's latest effort called Gravitas. Kiefer, what is your favorite word? Latin gravitas. What is your least favorite word? Nigger. You're gonna have to do some research to know what that fucking shit is all about, but I'll let you guys figure that shit out. But Gravitas, Talib Kweli is back, bouncing back once again off of his great effort that came out last year called Prisoner of Conscious, yeah. I keep messing that up, saying Prisoner of Consciousness. Prisoner of Conscious. And to me, he kind of reset the bar high for himself with that album. Even though I did not review it, I did put it on my top 25 of 2013. And I felt one of the things that made that album unique was the fact that he went sort of outside his box. He didn't want to be classified as a conscious MC, even though that's what he is. And I want to do a separate video addressing that shit. But he basically was experimenting with different sounds, stuff that I don't think he would naturally rap over, but he ended up doing it very well, and it sounded like a Talib Kweli album, even though individually most of the tracks didn't sound like typical Talib Kweli, but as a whole it sounded like a fucking Talib Kweli album. I don't know how the fuck he pulled that off, but that's why the last album was great. This album right here, I'm not gonna go into his history. Y'all already know who the fuck Talib Kweli is. I shouldn't have to go into all that bullshit. I've talked about him before. Dope MC, I've been listening to him for years. Let me just jump right into, hold on, let me get this bitch open real quick. Let's go into some of these producers. Where are we? All right, you have Crisis, you have Lord Quest again. You have Thaddeus Dixon, Oh No, Static Selector, Rich Kid, 6 Sense, and Jay Dilla. Beat-wise, it's typical Talib Kweli. Nothing super hard or hard body or whatever. You know, it's good enough for Talib's style. He has sort of like a, I don't know how to describe it. I wouldn't say laid back. He makes his flow sound effortless. He's one of those MCs. So the beats suit him pretty well on here. Features on this bitch, you have Big K.R.I.T, you have Gary Clark Jr., Abby Dobson, Raekwon, The Underachievers, Reese, Black Thought, Rod Digger, I'll Be Back, and Mike Posner. Great features. Kind of, I think he has too many for this album. It's only 11 tracks on here. Some of them are grouped, like on track 2, Demonology, you have Big K.R.I.T and Gary Clark Jr. And then track 9, Art Imitates Life, you have Black Thought, Rod Digger, and I'll Be Back. But you know, I think he should have put more tracks of him by himself on this bitch. But the features, they do their thing on here. I'd have no real complaint about the features on here. Content-wise, y'all should already know, if you're a Talib Kweli fan, he mostly likes to stay along the conscious content which he does on here very much, or introspective type shit. Track 2, Demonology. I love how he's talking about how he has his own demons, and what's the hook? He says, I got my own demons, how am I supposed to deal with yours? And I love that. I could relate to that, because y'all know how I talk about this type of shit on my rants. I don't want to deal with your bullshit. I got my own problems. Why the fuck do I have to deal with your bullshit? So I definitely get down with that track. Track 4, Violations, featuring Raekwon. Fucking ridiculous, especially Raekwon. This motherfucker, every time I hear this dude, I love him more and more and more. And you know, it's like ever since the Vatican mixtapes and then Cuban Links 2, he has just been on a rampage. And just check that track out. That's all I gotta say. Track 5, Rare Portraits. That track is basically a history track. Like Talib Kweli even says in the liner notes that, you know, his history is well documented and shit, but he just wanted to cement it his way in rap form. So that's a dope track right there. What else could I talk about? The Wormhole, definitely one of my favorite tracks on here. Another solo track where he's by himself. That track is basically addressing a lot of the journalists and a lot of the idiots that love to assume that rappers are in the Illuminati. And I so wanted to do a video on this, and it's getting tired, and I'm glad he addressed it on that track. Go check that shit out. Dope track there. I'll skip ahead. I'll go to Lover's Peak. Obviously, you can tell what the track is about just based off the title. That's actually a throwaway track, I believe, off of his last album. Let me see what he says. I don't want to get this fucking wrong. Yeah, off of his last album, off of the Prisoner of Conscience album. I remember I read that in there. So content-wise, again, it's Talib Kweli. You're gonna get great social content. You're gonna get great introspective shit. Just real shit that anybody can relate to. All right, my rating of this album, I'll give it a 7.75. I thought it was a great album, a solid listen. I would have made it, you know, maybe a couple tracks longer and maybe trimmed down the features a little bit. And you know, not that the features were whack, but you know, y'all know how I feel. You can't litter your fucking shit with a bunch of features. If you're gonna do that, that shit has to be immaculate. But shout out to Talib Kweli. I know he's supposedly working on a full album with Ninth Wonder. Now that is gonna be fucking insane. That's the latest news on Talib Kweli, and I look forward to that shit. And yeah, that's it. Y'all know the deal. Leave your love, leave your hate. Most of all, subscribe, support dope shit, and that's it. Peace, bitches.